Lighting can completely change the entire look of your video. For this reason, I've been searching far and wide to find the perfect video light. I've tried out softboxes, small LED panels, large LED panels, smart lights, COB lights, and more. But recently, I've stumbled upon a very intriguing light. It is a 150 watt COB light that is dimmable, color temperature adjustable, tint adjustable, full RGB with a ton of built-in effects, has focus control, fan control, and can be controlled by a remote or app. We are talking about the Godox SZ150R. And in this video, we'll break down the pros and the cons to find out if this really is the perfect light for YouTube videos. Alright, so before we get into this video, I do want to clarify that there are a lot of cheaper lights out there that will still do a great job, and I'll mention some later in this video. But this video right now is not about the cheapest light, it's about finding the perfect light. So let's get into it. Let's start by talking about the output. This is a 150 watt light. Sort of. I'll explain that more in the cons section. When this light is in CCT mode, it is very strong. I love how bright it can get as well as the light quality. The colors just look fantastic. It is very color accurate. It can be adjusted from 2800 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. And it has green magenta tint control. This will help you dial in your scene and color match it to other lights. The tint control is especially good because it adjusts appropriately depending on the power level that you're at. This avoids drastic jumps at lower output levels. It's one of the few COB lights I've used that actually even has this as a feature. The light is also RGB, which is really one of the things that sets it apart from the rest. Most COB lights are designed to be one color temperature, and some are even color temperature adjustable, but very few are RGB. In fact, this is really one of the first. But why would you choose a COB light over something like an LED panel? Well, COB lights are fantastic because of the Bowens mount. This allows you to change what you are putting in front of the light, a lot like interchangeable lens cameras. You can use a cone for harsher light, a softbox for diffused light, a lantern to give ambient room lighting, or even a projector to get super creative. And beyond just having color options, you also get built-in effects, which gives you a ton of options. The form factor of this light is pretty great. It has great build quality and a very sleek, modern design. It's a little big, but overall not too bad, and I find that it's very easy to control. The onboard screen is one of the best that I've seen, being that it offers a full color display. The light is easy to adjust and control, and the menu system just makes sense. I love that you only need one hand to loosen the tilt of the light. It's also cool that you can adjust the beam angle a little bit. COB lights with stronger outputs like this oftentimes introduce fan noise. If you're filming in a smaller room or home office, you'll want to avoid having fan noise. The fan noise on this light is actually pretty loud. But thankfully, you can completely turn the fan off. This limits the output to 35% in CCT mode and 75% in RGB mode. But the light is still plenty bright for YouTube videos, especially if you get the key light close. And this keeps the light dead silent. This is such a win because if you're streaming or recording videos and you want to get your key light close to you, you don't have to worry about fan noise. I love the variety of control you get with this light. You can control it on board the light itself, via an app, or my personal favorite way, with this remote control. Now, this remote is sold separately and in certain kits, but overall it's well worth it. The remote is super snappy and easy to use. And if you have multiple Godox lights, you can set them on separate channels and control each of them individually with one remote. Or you can set multiple lights to the same channel and control them all at the same time. Being able to individually control multiple lights with one remote is super awesome. It's been a game changer for my live streams and overall workflow. All right, now let's talk about the cons. First up on the list of cons is the price. Coming in at just over $500 definitely makes this light a little bit steeper than other COB lights. Though I will give it some slack because it is one of the first of its kind. Since the release of this light, there have been some other RGB COB lights, even ones that are brighter. They're just a lot more expensive. All right, let's talk about the beam angle adjustment. This is a really cool idea in theory, but the reality is this adjustment really doesn't do much at all. As you try to adjust and turn, I personally don't see much of a difference in the actual output of the beam angle. I applaud the idea and effort, but the execution just isn't quite there yet to make this a really beneficial feature. Now let's talk about the fan noise again. While I absolutely love that we have the control to turn the fan off, when you do want the full power of the light, the fan is pretty noticeable. So ultimately it's a con because with the perfect light, we wouldn't have to deal with this at all. I will also say it's a con that turning the fan off limits the power so much. While I think it's still plenty bright for YouTube videos where you can get it close to yourself, I could definitely see situations where you'd want to try to light up a whole room and use your strong 150 watt light, but the reality is it kind of makes it more of like a 50 watt light. Speaking of power, I'd love to see a way to easily integrate some sort of V-mount power solution, or even a Sony NP-F battery powered solution would be cool. That's just already built into the setup and workflow of the light. Even if the light had some sort of rechargeable feature, that would be really cool as well. I will also say that this light is a smidge bigger than other COB lights that I've tested. This also makes it a smidge heavier, and I've noticed that it tends to be a little bit front heavy. For some reason, whenever I turn it off and back on, it doesn't automatically connect to the remote control. I have to go into the menu and change the channel away from the one it's supposed to be on and back to what it's supposed to be on for it to then register to the remote. This just seems like a bug to me because their other products don't do this at all, and I think it's something that can be fixed with a firmware update. Which brings me to one more pro that I forgot to mention. This light has a built-in USB port for firmware updates. This tells me that Godox plans to release firmware updates that could fix bugs and potentially even unlock new features. Now that we've talked through the pros and the cons, let's see this light in action while I tell you about today's sponsor. Soundstripe is an incredible music licensing platform where I get all of my music for both YouTube videos and client work. They're always expanding their library of sounds and have awesome filter tools to help you find the right track for your project. Plus, they even offer stock video plans and sound effects. Compared to the competition, they're already super affordable, but you can also use code CREATIVE20 to save 20% at checkout. All right, let's talk about who this light is for. So, as you guys can see, no, this is not the perfect light. But so far on my lighting journey, I think this is the closest I've come to a light that does it all. I love how ambitious Godox was with this light design, and I love all the features that are packed into it. And I can confidently say that as of right now, for me, this is my go-to key light of choice. Mainly because it integrates so well into my workflow. I can use it as my main key light, quickly add in some color to a scene, easily change out attachments, and easily control all of my lights with separate channels on one remote. So yeah, for now, this is my go-to key light and my top recommendation. But I do want to make it clear that if you are just starting out, this does not need to be your first light. There are plenty of cheaper options out there that can still do a fantastic job for you. Like this amazing $50 light from Mount Dog, or this small but strong little LED panel from Pixel. Using those types of lights when you're first starting out will still get you great results, and it will allow you to appreciate the conveniences and strengths of something like the Godox SZ150R as you grow into it. One of the features I love about these Godox lights is that I can control them all with one remote control. So if you're interested in the tube lights that I use alongside this key light, then you can find out all about it by continuing on to this video here. I've also placed links to all of the products mentioned in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay creative. Peace.